Lekki is a buzzing city with different characters of people. And in Lekki, there are different sets of families with different challenges and different stories that can change your world. In this story, we are going to be talking about the Okafor family. The Okafor family consists of Mr. Okafor and his daughter named Mary Okafor. Mr. Okafor and his daughter are living in a mansion in Lekki City. Mary Okafor was a young teenager who attended Bright Leader School. Mary Okafor was a smart and strong student with good educational skills. She was also one of the best in her class, and this made her father very proud. The Okafor family also had a maid who had been working for them since Mary was born. The maid's name is Stephanie, and Stephanie has been a very loyal servant to the Okafor family, which made her stay and work for them for years. Mr. John Okafor and Mary Okafor lost a wife and a mother on the same day many years ago when Mary was just 3 years old. And this has been on their minds for a very long time. Even though they smile to everyone outside, they face depression and tears inside their house because they are still mourning a very important person in their life. Well, according to them, life goes on no matter what. Mr. John, however, took care of Mary since she was 3 till now and never made her feel the loss of a mother because he played the role of both a mother and a father to her. Their maid, Stephanie, whereby was watching all of this happen. Ever since Mary's mother died, Stephanie has always hated Mary because Mary's mother was the only person who was mean to her when she was still alive in the Okafor house. Mary's mother was a mean woman and a very proud woman when she was alive, and she was very mean to Stephanie. And ever since Mary was born, Stephanie had hated Mary so much ever since then. And back to our present life, one day, Mr. Okafor wanted to go for a business trip, and this made Mary very sad because she had never left her father's side before, and Mr. Okafor had tried all his best to move his business meetings and appointments close to where their house is, but this business trip wasn't postponable or movable. Stephanie assured Mr. Okafor that Mary would be all right, that he could go for his business trip and she would take good care of her. But this was only the beginning of Mary's suffering. Mary took her books and read that evening in order to obtain a position as the best student in the school. Mary got ready for school the next day, but when she got into the car, she was sad that her father wasn't the one driving her. But she enjoyed the journey though, because of the amazing view she could have. Mary sat in the cafeteria during break time while gisting with her classmates, but she never had any close friend. She was a person who was free to talk to anyone, and this made her classmates and even other students like her very much. She was a free person and nice to everyone in the school. At around 5 p.m., Stephanie stood in the luxurious living room, staring at everywhere looking neat, the place she had cleaned herself, and an evil idea popped into her mind. Since her boss wasn't around, for the first time her boss wasn't around, she had the opportunity to treat Mary the way she liked and enjoyed the opportunity while it lasted. She smiled mischievously while thinking of the outcome of this new plan of hers. She was going to enjoy it a lot. The next day was a Saturday and Mary didn't go to school. Mary took her bath after waking up and went downstairs to the kitchen to ask for food. But she was surprised to see Stephanie dressed in another form. Stephanie was dressed casually, like she wasn't working. She didn't put on her usual maiden's dress, and this made Mary curious that she asked Stephanie, saying, "Auntie, why aren't you putting on your usual working dress? Why are you dressing casually today? Or is today your off?" Mary asked politely. But Stephanie gave a rude answer, saying, "And how is that any of your business, you spoilt little brat? Your business is to sit down in this house, listen to me and do as I say, not to ask me of what to wear and what not to wear. Leave me alone. Take your food and go and eat, and stop pestering me with your unnecessary questions." Mary was shocked at her form of reply, but gently left with her meal. The next day, Mary got dressed for church and asked Auntie Stephanie to take her there. But Stephanie refused to take her to church, and Mary also noticed that Stephanie was wearing a casual dress on Sunday, which was still a working day, and this has never happened before. Mary insisted on going to church, and Stephanie screamed at her, telling her to go to her room and sit down there without coming downstairs till she called her to come. This got Mary very sad, and she ran upstairs to her room, pulled off her church dress, and sat down on the ground with a blanket on her body, and she started crying. And around 6 a.m., Mr. John Okafor called Stephanie to check up on his daughter. The conversation went on like this. "Hello, Stephanie," he said. "Hello, sir. How are you? And most importantly, how is my daughter?" "I and your daughter are doing very well, sir." "Alright, can I actually speak with her?" Sir, she has actually gone to school. Do you remember that today is Monday?" "Oh, so sorry, my bad. Then maybe when she gets back, please tell her that I called and maybe call back." "Alright, sir, I will. Thank you very much. Sir, do you have any other thing to say?" "No, not exactly. But if Mary or you need any other thing, please don't hesitate to call my phone number and talk to me about it. I'm ready to provide anything you and her needs." "Okay, sir, but I'm not sure me and her will be needing anything for now, because the house is filled with foodstuffs and she doesn't need anything in her school for now. Also, I think." "Alright, bye for now. I need to get back to work. Please take care of my daughter and yourself too. Bye." The call ended. The next day when Mary got to school, she couldn't concentrate on her studies. She was always distracted, thinking about the shoutings of Stephanie at her. She thought that Stephanie was a nice lady. She was always nice to her throughout the time she has known her. But this sudden change in her behavior made her feel so belittled, and she wished her father was around. Her class teacher, Miss Chidima, noticed Mary's recent behavior and decided to call her to talk to her. She asked if Mary was okay, and Mary replied that she was fine. She asked Mary why she was acting awkward the past few days, and Mary replied that everything was fine, that she had nothing to worry about. And this reply was because Stephanie had warned and threatened to kill her if she said anything to anyone about all the things she's facing in the house. But behind Mary's sharp and direct replies, her teacher noticed that her voice was a little bit shaky and her hands felt wet. She felt like she was scared. Her teacher noticed all this carefully, but said nothing and asked Mary to go back to her seat. When Mary got home, Stephanie ordered her to do the dishes. Mary at first refused because it was not her job to do the dishes, but Stephanie's. And Stephanie shouted at her, screaming at her, and telling her to go and do the dishes. If not, she will get the beating of her life. In order to avoid beating, which her father or her mother have never done to her, she immediately went to wash the plates. But she was sad because this was never what her father would have wanted. And she was also confused by Stephanie's new and cruel behavior. And while Mary was busy sweating and doing the dishes in the kitchen, Stephanie sat and took the most expensive snacks which her father had ordered for Mary to take. She took it and started eating, enjoying her life, or so she thought. Unfortunately for Mary, mistakenly she broke a plate while washing the dishes. And when Stephanie heard the crash, she ran to the kitchen and dragged Mary out of the kitchen to the living room and started screaming at her, telling her that she was just a spoilt brat, wasting resources, breaking expensive plates. She wanted to hit her, but she couldn't because she knew her father would see the marks on her body. But she screamed at her and insulted her, calling her ugly and all sorts of different bad words, saying different ugly words to her. And this hurt Mary so much because the words she heard that day she had never heard before. She ran to her room and sat on the bed, feeling miserable. She looked out from the window and wished her father was here, because she knew if her father was around, all this won't be in the hands of Stephanie to be able to do. The next day, when Mary requested Stephanie to drive her to school, Stephanie pulled her ear and dragged her to a small room and locked her there. That room was the locker room in that house, and no matter how much Mary could scream, no one would hear her. Mary felt more miserable than ever. She could not go to school, and she could not have a say in her own father's house. A maid, a common maid, is now the one controlling the home like she owns it just because of a business trip. When Mary got out of the kitchen to the living room, she was shocked to see Mr. John Okafor, who was also shocked to see her. He said, "Mary, why are you putting on casual clothes? Today is not your off." And she replied, "Sir, I know. I just wanted to change." Stephanie immediately ran to her room and wore her maiden's clothes. She told her boss to sit while she served him his food. Mr. Okafor asked about his daughter, and Stephanie lied that Mary was all right, that she had gone to school. Meanwhile, Mary was not all right at all. She kept feeling very disgraceful and rejected. She felt betrayed by Stephanie. Stephanie had always been in the mask of a good person, but she was nothing but a wolf in a sheep's clothing. When hours has passed after it was Mary's closing time, Mr. Okafor called the school principal, asking him if Mary was still in school. Mr. Emmanuel, the school principal, was glad to see Mr. Okafor's call. But when Mr. Okafor asked about his daughter and said his daughter had not gotten home by that time, he decided to go and ask one of the teachers if they had seen her. He assured Mr. Okafor that he would go and ask some of the teachers if Mary was still in the surrounding of the school. Mr. Emmanuel went to her class teacher first, Miss Chidima, asking her if Mary was still around the school. But Miss Chidima gave a very shocking reply that Mary did not even appear in school at all throughout the day. She had not come to school, not to talk of leaving. This reply shocked the principal, and he told Mr. Okafor exactly what he heard from her class teacher. Mr. Okafor was worried about his daughter, that how come his daughter had not gotten to school when Stephanie told him herself that she took Mary to school. He drove back home and called Stephanie and asked Stephanie whether Mary had gone to school truly. And Stephanie replied, lying, "Yes, sir, I took her to school myself. I dropped her in front of her gate, but I don't know where she went to because I saw her entering the school's gate before I left." And Mr. Okafor told her, saying, "But right now she is missing, and her school claimed not to have seen her throughout today." Missing? Stephanie gave a fake shock reply. How can she be missing? She started acting like she was truly concerned. But Mr. Okafor told her to print out posters of her picture and write missing on them, to post them on the walls of the streets to know whether people would find her. Stephanie did as her boss said, and Mary was officially missing. Mr. Okafor had a cousin who was a police officer, and her name is Stella. Stella is a renowned police officer known all over the world for her great acts. Mr. Okafor told Stella about this happening, and Stella assured him that her and her officers would get to work about it. Stella came back the next day and started interrogating, but she started with Stephanie. Their conversation went on like this. "Hello, what is your name?" Stella asked. "My name is Stephanie. And who are you to Mr. Okafor?" "I am their long-time maid." "Okay. Do you know a girl named Mary?" "Yes, she is my boss's daughter." "Mr. Okafor told me that when he left for his business trip, you were the only one he left her with." "Yes, he left her with me, and I took care of her until a morning when she went to school, and I dropped her at school myself, but the school claimed that they never saw her, which is also shocking to me." Stella sighed, looking at Stephanie's eyes and her hands. She felt like she was talking with anxiety and fear. And Stella told her, "Don't be afraid. I'm not going to arrest you. I'm just here to interrogate you." And Stephanie replied, stuttering, I'm I'm not afraid. I never told you I am. Okay. The officer left Stephanie. At the police station, Stella and Stephanie's conversation were recorded, and every single bit of it were heard. An officer also listened to the conversation. His name was Paul. Paul listened to the conversation between Stella and Stephanie, and he was confused by the way Stephanie was speaking. She spoke with fear, but her answers were direct, and her explanation seemed to be shaky. He wrote some things down on his notepad and told Stella that they would go and search the house the next day. The next day, Stella came with different officers, ordering them to search around the house, and Mr. Okafor wasn't against this because he knew that Stella knew what she was doing. Stephanie watched all this in silence, but she was so afraid that they were going to find Mary. And surely, like she predicted, Stella broke the door to the small room where Mary was kept by Stephanie and saw Stephanie there, looking dirty, crying, sad, and smelly. She was shocked to find Mary in that room, and when she asked Mary how she got there, Mary explained everything to her, telling her that Stephanie was the one who locked her there just because she requested to go to school. Stella took Mary back to the living room, and everyone was shocked to see her, even Mr. Okafor and also Stephanie. Stephanie was so afraid that her secret had now leaked out because she knew Mary would tell them everything. Mr. Okafor grabbed his daughter into a warm embrace, and Mary felt a comfort that she had not felt in days. Since her father left, she had missed him so much and missed his warm hug, which he always gave to her before she went to bed. And that warm hug she got made her feel relieved, and all her problems have been solved. Stella told Mr. Okafor everything Mary said, and Mr. Okafor grabbed Stephanie, pulling her down while Stephanie was begging. He dragged her and told her to confess about everything, and she told him how she always treats Mary like she was the maid in the house since he left. Mr. Okafor said angrily, "I thought I could have trusted you, but humans will always be humans, wicked and heartless." And Stephanie begged him, explaining that she only took this revenge on his daughter because of her mother. He told her everything her mother usually do to her when he was not around, and Mr. Okafor was shocked. But even after that, he still decided to throw her out, but not get her arrested because she was not a safe person to Mary anymore, and Mary always felt traumatized and scared whenever she saw her. After everything, Mary was back to normal, going back to Bright Leader High School, and she was so happy that she had gotten out of the clutches of Stephanie, the wicked maid. She was happy, cheerful, and free again, and even her teacher noticed this and felt satisfied that Mary was back to the normal girl that she knew, who was always free to everyone. When the school closed for the term, Mr. Okafor took Mary out for a vacation, and Mary enjoyed her life like she had never enjoyed it before. And as for Stephanie, she couldn't live in the city anymore. She had to go back to her hometown village, regretting her actions. She realized she was pushed by the rage of anger and revenge, and this got her nowhere but back to her village. She learned her lesson and decided to start a new life in the village, and they all lived happily ever after. The end. The moral lesson of this story is that forgiveness is better than taking revenge, and you shouldn't punish a child for his parents' mistakes or his parents' regretful actions. Stephanie inflicted suffering on Mary just because she felt that this would also cause them pain, and she would pay them back for the pain that her mother had caused to her. But even after thinking she could get her pound of flesh, what did she get? Disgrace, regrets, and back to square one. And so, taking revenge on one's generation for one's sin is not right. Just forgive and forget. Just like the Bible says, a human should forgive 70 times 7 times. Well, we have all learned another lesson today. But don't forget to click the like button, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, and see you all in my next video.